March Madness postgame press conference featuring Syracuse University. We're joined right now by junior guard Buddy Boeheim. Once again, if you have a question for Buddy, we ask that you use the raise hand function to indicate you have a question. When you're called on, please state your name and your affiliation. Again, Buddy cannot see you, so if you can give your name and affiliation before you ask your question. We're going to start with Kevin McCaskill. Kevin, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
This is Kevin McCaskill from FP Sports out of Springfield, Mass. Was the difficulty advancing the ball late in the game a result of West Virginia's press or your team not executing a press break play to get open?
A little bit of both. I mean, West Virginia is a great defensive team. They're known for their press, and I think we had Marek bringing it up, and then he got trapped, and then he kind of just threw it away. So I think when that happens and you turn it over once, you kind of start thinking about it a little too much, and we seemed to do that a little, and it was tough for us getting it in. They did a good job denying and trapping hard, but I mean, Kadari made the play of the game by getting the ball and dribbling up court, and he gave it to me. We were able to draw a foul and made 2 free throws. So I thought that kind of was a dagger, definitely, and was probably sealed the game. So that was an incredible play by Kadari.
All right, next we're going to go with Mike Waters. Mike, go ahead.
Mike Waters with Syracuse.com. Buddy, you weren't on the team, but you were around in 2018 when that team was an 11 seed and made it to the Sweet 16. Can you compare what this team is doing right now with that team and, compare those two squads?
Defense. I mean, when I think of that team, it was defense. I mean, they held Michigan State to 50s, high 50s, 60s maybe, but it was defense first, Tyus making big plays at the end of the game, and they just played together. They were really solid on defense, and you could count on each other to make a play, and they moved it well. They were really good. They were a tough team, and they closed out tough games. They won a lot of games by 1 or 2, even from the first game against Arizona State. That was down to the wire, so that was a team that just closed out games, and we're very similar. We're never going to give up. We're always going to keep playing. They took the lead. In the second half, McNeil got hot, but we just kept playing and kept answering them. So it's just, continuing to play, and our defense was big time in the first half today and kept us that lead because we weren't making shots, and I was definitely struggling shooting the ball.
We'll go with Donna DeTota next. Donna, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, buddy. You mentioned that you were struggling a little bit in the first half, but they left you open for a couple of shots, and you got a couple in transition in that second half. And how did that sort of fuel your confidence and enable you to get kind of on a roll in the second half?
It was huge for me. Just credit to my teammates. They knew that I needed to get some clean looks early in the second half to get going, and they did a great job. My first 2 shots were wide open, and that's all credit to Marek giving me handoff and then finding me in the corner. And they knew that, eventually I'm going to start making shots. And first half I got a lot of clean looks that I was frustrated about, but GMAC just came up to me at halftime and said, keep going. I don't care if you miss 200, just keep shooting. And I just said, all right, if I get clean looks, I'm going to have to take them, and I'm going to start making them.
All right, our next question comes from Nico Tamurian. Nico, go ahead.
Thank you, and thank you, Buddy. Listen, it's just one of those things. It always seems to be that everybody outside the program saying Syracuse shouldn't be there, and then you go on a run like this, and this is the first one with you being on the team. How special is this to you to not just have this happen, but to prove so many people wrong?
I can't describe it. Something I dreamed about my whole life, and to win 2 games, we doubted in both, the underdog, and this means everything. I mean, if you were to ask me a month or 2 months ago where I think we would be, I don't think I would say Sweet 16, that's for sure. And this team just never gave up. We just kept playing. And it's just amazing to be part of this team and how fun these moments are. And the fans were so fun and amazing having them there. They got us going, and just a lot of fun celebrating with them. So it's just amazing. And we've been doubted before, but we just continue to keep going and proving people wrong.
Okay, our next question comes from Mark Larson. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, buddy. Can you talk about what's going on with your mindset right now. That Syracuse swagger seems to be back, and you have it as much as anybody out there, hitting big shots and barking at the guys saying they can't guard you. Tell me about that. How fun is this for you right now?
It's so fun. I mean, I got a chip on my shoulder, like I said, every day. And coming into this game, no matter what happens, I'm just going to keep playing. And we've already proved so many people wrong, so why not keep going? And, I struggled early on, but once I got going, I made sure that, I was going to let my team know that, I'm here now and I'm going to keep going and just let me, create, make plays. And credit to my teammates for getting me going. They always believe in me, and there's no better feeling than having teammates and coaches that believe in you. So I'm just having fun now, and why not keep going?
Okay, our next question comes from James Shuba. James, go ahead.
Yeah, James Zuba, News Magician. Buddy, I'm going to kind of beat a dead horse here, but this is now Jim's 20th Sweet 16 appearance. I know you touched on it last game, but what does this mean to you to get him another one?
It means everything. If I'm going to be honest, after the couple games, Georgia Tech game or something, saw a lot of stuff on Twitter talking about him and just crazy stuff, how he's been not doing well the last 10 years. Do you know how many people would dream about going to 2 Sweet 16s, 2 Final Fours, and an Elite 8? In 10 years, I think that's pretty good, and it just shows he's never had a losing season, back in the Sweet 16, and he continues to do it. He's one of the best coaches in all sports. There's no doubt about it, and there's no one better, and I think he continues to prove that, and it's no better feeling than helping him bring him to another Sweet 16, and just shows how great he is and the continued greatness he continues to have.
Okay, our next question comes from Joshua St. Croix. Joshua, go ahead.
Hi, buddy. Josh St. Croix from the Watertown Daily Times. You mentioned Coach McNamara, and if I'm not mistaken, you passed him for the most three-pointers in the first 2 tournament games for a Syracuse player. Knowing the connection you guys have and how much he means to you, just what does that mean to you to be able to pass him on that list tonight?
There's no one better than G-Mac. He'll always be the best shooter to come to Syracuse, and just being able to work with him every day is a dream come true for me. Before I even touch the court and get a play in a game, just being around him every day, taking knowledge from him, and like I said at halftime, he came up to me and said, "Keep shooting. You're the best shooter on the planet," is usually what he tells me, and I just I say yeah, and he knows how to motivate me. He knows I need confidence sometimes, and he's like a big brother to me, and something I'll cherish forever. As much as it's great playing for my dad, I got 3 assistant coaches that are family too, so this is a dream come true for me, and every day I'm on that court, I'm going to give it everything I got for these guys and the coaches and just everyone in this program.
Okay, our next question comes from Adam Rittenberg. Adam, go ahead.
Yeah, buddy, congratulations. Adam Rittenberg with ESPN. Just wanted to ask you, overall, the postseason, how you've been playing since the conference tournament. What's kind of gone into that for you, especially the way you're shooting the ball?
Just making shots. My mindset has definitely changed. I'm really not doing anything that different on the court. I'm working a little harder. I'm focused a little more, but my mental, I think, my mindset has gotten a lot stronger and better. Early on in the year, if I missed a couple, I would start pressing myself and really just thinking about my shots, and that's something you can never do as a shooter. As a shooter, you have to have an empty head almost and not think about it. It's muscle memory, and just changing my mindset and starting the attack, going off the dribble, getting to the lane better, and just continuing to believe myself and keep going always. So just having the mindset that I'm going to make every shot I get, and if not, just keep shooting and keep playing. They'll fall eventually.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Mike DeCourcy. Mike, go ahead.
Yes, buddy. Mike DeCourcy from Sporting News. You've been around the zone your whole life, obviously. What has that helped you understand it, and does your knowledge of it help with your teammates' understanding of it because of, the obvious connection there?
I think at first, when I first got here, I needed some advice and needed help. partly because I wasn't that quick and not a good defender. I think I've improved a lot over the years, but I had guys like Frank Howard and Tyus Battle that were helping me every day, telling me where I needed to be. Like I said, G-Max, the first one to get on me on defense, I gave up a 3 early in the game, and he's looking at me like, you can't do that. And I just like, yep, I got you. And just stuff like that. But I think now that I've known the zone so well and know multiple positions, I can help out guys and make adjustments. And I think that the coaches have done a great job teaching all of us. And for guys transfers like Allen or freshmen like Kadari, I'm always going to help them and tell them where they need to be if it's in this situation or that. So just trying to help out and improving on defense every day. And I think, it's shown in these last 2 games.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Nancy Armour. Nancy, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, Nancy Armour from USA Today Sports. Going back to the 2016 and some of the criticism that Syracuse teams have gotten when they've come in as double-digit seeds, what is it about whether it's your dad or the team that seems to really feed off this? You've seen it from the being around him first, and now you're seeing it as part of one of those teams.
I think the zone is it's so different. I mean, every run I can think of, our defense was great. And I think this year our offense is a little better than our defenses or our other offenses in like 2018 and stuff, because I think we have more shooters that stretch the court out. So I think this year we're just as good on defense. I say the 2018 team had more size inside with Pascal, and O'Shea was a really good rebounder. But I think this year we're better on offense, but we're working hard on defense. We're playing together. Jesse's helped us out a lot at times, and I just think that the zone's really tough for teams that never see it once. Teams in the ACC prep for it two, three times a year, so they know the offenses and that stuff. And these teams see it maybe once every 5-6 years. So the Syracuse zone is just different, and we just click on offense. We're motivated always. We want to prove people wrong, and that's what this team is doing right now.
Okay, we'll take 2 more questions. The first one is going to come from Michael McCleary. Michael, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, Michael McCleary, Indy Star. So West Virginia started the second half and shooting a lot of threes after really struggling with defense early on. What was going through your mind when they started to hit?
I knew it was coming. They're too good of a team to not score and be tentative on offense. And once McNeil got going, we knew we had to get out on him. He's a great shooter. He elevates on his shot, so it's hard to block it. All you can do is contest and hope he misses it. But he got going, and our biggest adjustment was getting out on him. We did a really good job just, forcing them to make tough twos, letting them take tough jumpers inside, contesting shots, whatever it was. And they scored. I mean, they scored 43 points in the second half, but we just made adjustments and kept playing. And I think the biggest thing was every time they scored, they took the lead once, and we just answered every time we scored and got a tough bucket. And then eventually they missed a couple, and we kept scoring.
Okay, and our final question is coming from Pete Thamel. Pete, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, Pete Thamel from Yahoo. Can you maybe walk me through a moment or two in the first half when you could tell that the zone had stymied them? It looked like they might have got sped up a little bit, but is there a moment when you're like, okay, this is working, and then you guys feed off that on offense and it manifests that way?
Yeah, I think they had a couple of turnovers early where they just threw it out of bounds or forced a tough layup, forced a jump shot. We had 2 or 3 blocks early that got us going, and then we just pushed in transition. We knew they were going to double ball screens, hit Marek slipping, and we had a 4-on-3. So just getting stops, and I think early on they definitely were frustrated. They were moving the ball. They didn't know what plays they were running, where guys had to be, and it definitely stunned them early. They made adjustments. Obviously, they're a great team, great coach, but that really helped us keep the lead at halftime because I was struggling. Joe was really the only guy that made tough shots. So the defense was big for us in the first half.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We will have head coach Jim Boeheim in just a few seconds here. All right, we have head coach Jim Boeheim. We will start with an opening statement from Coach. After that, if you have questions for him, Once again, please use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask the question. When you're called on, please state your name and affiliation. Coach cannot see you, so please give your name and affiliation before asking your question. Coach, if you could just give us an opening statement.
I thought the first half we played the best defense we played all year long. We wanted to stay back on Culver, and when he tried to drive, to draw the charge, and but getting him out of the game probably hurt us because they were much better with their smaller lineup, and they really made it hard to defend them. And then they got on the boards big time in the second half. But I think the key really was Marek. You make the decision. The game's going to get away with 11 minutes to go, 12 minutes. If he doesn't play, he has to be in the game. We run our offense through him, and he played the whole rest of the game with the 4 fouls, and he's so key for us. But I thought the determination we showed today, when we missed shots. Buddy missed the open shots he's been making the last few weeks, and halftime, Jerry talked to him, said just keep going, keep looking for him, and everybody kept looking for him, and he knocked some huge shots down when they had us in a lot of trouble. But it was a great win. West Virginia's got a great team. I thought defensively we were really, really good for most of the game. We let McNeil get loose a little bit, and he hit some tough threes. But and they got on the boards. They hurt us on the boards, and we made some bad turnovers we don't usually make. But at the end of the day, we won the game. So it's a great win.
Okay, we'll take questions. We're going to start with Mike Waters. Mike, go ahead.
Mike Waters of Syracuse.com. Jim, you're now taking an 11 seed to the Sweet 16 for the second time in the last 3 years. In 2016, you had a 10 seed go to the Final Four. Does this team share any kind of characteristics or mental approach with those two teams?
You're playing good teams. I think we made San Diego State look bad, but they're a really good team. And for a while, we made West Virginia look bad, but then they showed what they have, and they came back at us really hard. You get in this tournament, and you just try to play it one play at a time. Our offense is still pretty good, even though we missed some open shots. I think, we shot 50%, 40-something, 45 from the three, and, we missed some shots. But I think Joe had a huge first half, and then Buddy got it going the second half. And, our defense, Robert's been really good on defense. Allen's just struggled on defense. It's not his offense. He's really struggling on the defensive end to rebound. And, we have to have defense and rebounding, first of all. But, again, Marek does so much for us that it's hard to even you can't even look at the stat sheet because his importance is so much more than – and, I mean, he has a good stat sheet, but his importance to our team is so much. I mean, he's just a tremendous player. And Jesse is, Jesse's not ready yet for this level of competition. It's something I've said all year. I think he's got a great chance to be good someday, but he's just not ready for these physical guys. They just are too physical for him, and he gets pushed around too much. He got knocked completely out of the play twice down there, and they got a layup. But it's good experience for him, and he'll learn from this. I thought Kadari made the best play of the game. We had 5 seconds to get it over, and he made an unbelievable play coming up the sideline, getting that ball over half court, getting it over to Quinn. I mean, that was just a great play that he made, and we ended up getting the ball to Buddy, and he made the free throws. It was just a great play.
Okay, next we're going to go to Donna DeTota. Donna, go ahead.
Jim, you mentioned Buddy struggles a little bit in the first half, but they left him open a couple of times early in the second half, and he made those threes. And do you think that sort of let him get a little bit on a roll in the second half?
Well, they didn't leave him open. We ran a play where they would double the ball, and then when they would have to come back to help on the roller guy, get into the basket, and Marek, found Buddy. And, he missed some of those in the first half, which is unusual. the way he's been playing lately. He missed some wide open ones, but eventually he's going to make those, and he did. Then he made one really tough three that we had to have right over the guy, and then he made a great pull up on the guy. These guys are really good defensive players. I mean, they got up in us and really guarded us. We had to be patient, spread it out. And, we played a great game offensively against this team. They got us a little bit on the boards in the second half, and that, that's something that can happen to us. But, we made some turnovers that we don't usually make today, and that could have really hurt us. But fortunately, we were able to overcome that.
Okay, next we're going to go with Nico Tamurian. Nico, go ahead.
Thank you, Nico Tamurian, NBC3 and CBS 5. And Coach, you mentioned that determination a minute ago. I mean, every time West Virginia came back, you guys made the shot you had to, and you found a way to come back. A lot of people don't realize how hard that is. Just describe what that says about this team. You're able to do that.
I mean, they're very determined. When West Virginia came back, we had Jesse with four out, and Marek had four, and West Virginia had control of the game, and we got it down, and we got Buddy. I think he got a couple shots, a couple looks right there. I think first Marek got fouled on a play, going to basket, and made him. And then we got Buddy, I think, a couple times. And then when it was 6, 5 or 6, but we ran a great play, made a couple great passes, and got Robert a 3. And he was a little off today, but he knocked that 3 down. That gave us the separation, although they kept coming at us, and they're going to keep coming at you the whole time. But this team's very determined. They've shown that. We were in a big hole, and we had to beat North Carolina and Clemson and North Carolina State on the road and home. And North Carolina State's a good basketball team. We were not going to make the tournament if we didn't win all those games. And these guys deserve all the credit in the world. I mean, they're a tough bunch, and they've earned. It's hard to make the Sweet 16. Look around. Look at some of the teams that are out. It's really hard to get to the Sweet 16. When I started coaching, we thought that was you're supposed to do that. I think we went to 14 or 15 Sweet 16s, and some of them I don't even think we celebrated. Probably 10 of them. I don't even think we celebrate them. We just figured that's what we're supposed to do. But it's very hard. There's so many good teams. You watch all these teams that are winning that nobody knows that much about, and it's not an accident. There's just a lot of really good coaches. There's a lot of really good players. I mean, Loyola of Chicago today was one of the most impressive teams I've seen in a long time. Illinois is really good. The Big Ten's a great conference, as we all know. They won the Big Ten, I think. Or they were, I guess they were close. But anyway, they're really good. And, Chicago dominated the game. And that's just college basketball.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Mark Larson. Mark, go ahead.
Coach Mark Larson, Spectrum News, Syracuse. You talk about Sweet 16s. This is your 20th, and considering all your team has overcome, and considering your son is now kind of leading the way, is this the sweetest of the 20?
Well, this is a pretty good one. There's no doubt. This is a pretty good one. We've had to overcome a lot, and it's been a battle this year. It's been a real grind. We had a lot of guys up and down. Joe was up and down a lot this year, and he was key in the first half tonight. He was really good, and they did a good job on Joe in the second half. He had trouble, and Kadari did some good things for us in there. But there's been some real up and downs and trying to get through. Yeah, this is a really good one. I didn't realize that I'd been to that many, but that's pretty good. We want to be good. We want to be consistent, and some years we might struggle a little bit, but if we can do something in the tournament, that's great. We'd like to be good in the regular season and the tournament, but when you're not good as you'd like to be in the regular season, then let's play well in the tournament. And that's what these guys have done. Really proud of this group. I mean, this is, we've beaten two really, really good teams, and really proud of them.
Okay, our next question, I hope I get this last name right, from Anthony Dabundo. Anthony, go ahead. I hope I got it right.
You did. Thank you. Anthony Dabundo from the Daily Orange. You mentioned that Marek, what he does isn't quantifiable on the stat sheet. Where would you put this in terms of like his performances this season and compare them to other ones, and how important he was tonight?
He's important every game. He breaks the press for us. He gets it inbounds. He's the one that makes those tough passes there. Somehow he always makes one characteristically bad pass against pressure, which he did when he threw it out of bounds. But he's so key. We spread our offense out. He knows where to go with it. He knows when to drive. He knows when somebody's going to go back door. He just sees things better than anybody else. And he's just a terrific basketball player. I mean, he really is. He's one of the most underrated players in the country. To be able to play center at 6'10", 200 nothing pounds. He's not 200 even, I don't think. And to make all the plays he makes for us on offense and defense. I mean, he drew 2 charges. He just, he's just a great, great team player. He makes winning plays that are not noticed sometimes, but they're there. They're there. But this group, Kadari we went backdoor. We haven't gotten him that play all year, and he dunked it over somebody and hit a big pull-up. He fell asleep a couple times on defense, but, he's getting there. Robert's really getting there. Jesse's getting experience, and I think he's learning what he has to do to play at this level. They're a physical team, and you've got to be strong to play at this level. And he needs to learn that and to really go to work and get stronger in the off season. That'll be a huge key for him moving forward. I thought Quincy was right on the verge today. He had a good, solid game. I think he can do more. I think he's on the verge of where he can really break out. He's starting to shoot better. A couple times he lost the ball around the basket. He missed one easy one. I don't know whether that was a charge down there or not. It looked like he made a good move to the basket in the first half, but I don't know. But he's on the verge of really playing well, and we need that.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Stephen Bailey. Stephen, go ahead.
Stephen Bailey with 24/7 Sports. Jim, you mentioned Kadari getting across half court late in the game. I wanted to ask you about that play, and then just the last inbounds play from Marek to Buddy. How important were those, and what are you going to remember about them?
I mean, Kadari's play was the play of the game, I think, because if he didn't get that over, I forget exactly what it was, whether it was 4-2. I think might have been 4. I'm not sure. But he got that ball over in like 5 seconds, and he had to go to get it over, and then he made a good pass at the other end. So, I mean, he made a great play. That was a great play.
Okay, our next question comes from Danny Emmerman. Danny, go ahead.
Yeah, Danny Emmerman, Daily Orange here. This is your third Sweet 16 since 2016, and that's more than every other program in the nation except for Gonzaga and Michigan if they win tomorrow. There's been a lot of criticism of the program during that time. I'm sure you hear it. Why do you think that might be?
I don't hear it because they're from people who are inconsequential. And I'm sure you go to Syracuse, right? You know what that means?
I do.
They don't matter.
I do go to Syracuse.
All the stuff on the internet, not one sentence on the internet matters. Not one. When my boss, the athletic director or the chancellor says something to me, I listen to that. They have not. But as far as me worrying about what people out there who don't support our program and probably in any way, they probably don't come to games or have season tickets. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I don't listen to them. My father taught me a long time ago, you know, you got to do what you think is right, and that's it. And you don't listen. And if you're coaching at Syracuse for 45 years, everybody has an opinion about what we should do or shouldn't do, or that we should be better or not. And, you know, maybe the next coach will be better. That's great. I'll be happy to see that. But I do not worry about what anyone says in Syracuse. I learned it a long time ago. My guidance counselor in 8th grade told me, Jim, you're not going to please everybody. He must have known I was going to be a coach.
We're going to take 2 more questions. First one is Pete Thamel. Pete, go ahead.
Jim, congratulations on the win. Buddy's obviously playing about as well as any player in the country right now. I think it's 28.5 points over the last 4 games. He was not, you know, a no-brainer 5-star instant player. I would say that his his success now is a testament to development and hard work. Can you just walk us through a little bit of how much better he has gotten during his time, at Syracuse?
He's worked since he was in 9th grade, Pete, and he had to work that hard from 9th grade to 12th just to come to Syracuse. Nobody really recruited Buddy. He was rated 300th in the country, so which that goes to show you how good those recruiting services are. But he just worked hard, and he got to Syracuse. He worked hard, you know, his freshman year. I mean, he works out with our strength coach 3 or 4 days a week during the season and in the off season, 3 days. He doesn't take a week off. He shoots after games. If we play 3 games in a week and we don't have practice Sunday, he lifts with the strength coach and he shoots. And he works out. Not just shooting, but working out, dribbling. He's learned he couldn't put the ball on the floor. Now he can put the ball on the floor and get his shot. That's why he's better now, because he can do that. But he's just made himself into a player. And there's a lot of guys like that. There's a lot of really good players out there that people didn't recruit because they weren't ready yet. And you watch them get better and you watch them work at the game. And Dolezaj, he didn't have anything. He didn't have any place to go to play. But he's worked hard. He understands the game. And, you know, our whole team is made up of guys like that weren't anywhere in the top 100 in the country. But they work hard. Buddy works really hard. His mother goes down at night. He'll be in the gym after a game. He'll be in there from 8 to 10. And I just kind of watching TV or something, and she'll tell me, and, you know, Buddy's down. And he's down there with the gun shooting for an hour and a half. And that's hard to do. You're getting shot up every 8 seconds. It's hard to shoot on the gun for more than 20, 30 minutes. And he'll do it for an hour. And then he'll work out with, you know, Eric Devendorf has trained him and worked him out. I mean, he just works every day. And he's made himself into a really good player. And the difference is he puts it on the floor and can make plays now. His defense is much better. He's moving his feet really good, covering shooters now. That was a big criticism of both him and Joe. And they're our 2 best defensive guards in the zone. Kadari gets more steals, but Joe and Buddy play it technically better. And but Buddy's, you know, I give him all the credit in the world. I've had a lot of hardworking players. I really have. A lot of guys that just work their tail off. I mean, he works harder than anybody that I've ever coached. And it's not close. It really is not close. He's just an incredible hard worker, and he deserves this. Both of our guards, Joe Girard is an unbelievable worker. And that's why we're here. That's why we're playing. And like I said, I'm proud of this whole group. I mean, we were pretty bad for quite a while this year. We were getting beat 25 points. We weren't getting beat 10. We were getting beat pretty bad at Clemson, at Virginia, at Pittsburgh. We got killed. And they just kept going. They just kept coming to practice, kept trying to get better. And, you know, we're probably the only team in the country that was really playing at that bad a level at one time this year. And then we got little better. And at the end, we were really playing good basketball. And it's hard sometimes. You can play good at the end of the year, but to take it into the tournament is not always easy. There's some teams that were playing really well at the end of the year that are not in this tournament anymore. So it's hard. It's hard to win this tournament. I think our defense helps us a little bit. It's different. People don't see it. And so it's a little adjustment. But our offense has been really good. We're playing two really good defensive teams, and we're shooting over 50% from the field and 50% total in the two games from the three. And we missed a lot of open threes tonight, too. So it's been a great group to coach, a great group.
We have one more question. It comes from Adam Rittenberg. Adam, go ahead.
Yeah, Jim, one more about Buddy. Just overall, what have you seen from him in the postseason, especially today, kind of fighting through that first half slump and then playing so well in the second half?
I mean, he's just been playing great. He's been putting the ball on the floor and getting his own shot. Teammates have been looking for him, good screening. The ball's finding him when he's open. I mean, he had some really good looks today. I'm surprised that he didn't make, I mean, he was 6 for 13. I'm surprised he wasn't 10 for 13, really, the way he's been shooting it. And I know he was disappointed himself at halftime, but he showed that, what he's made of. I think he was 1 for 6 in the first half and probably 7 for 11 second half, something like that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good shooting. But, yeah, he's a tough kid. He growing up, he was a little underconfident. I had to boost him up a lot. I have 2 sons. Jimmy plays, like to describe Jimmy, he plays golf. He hits 10 out of bounds in a row, and he thinks the 11th one's going to go in the hole on a par 4. Buddy can play 10 good holes and 1 bad one. He thinks the next one's going to be bad. So they just have a different level of confidence. But Buddy's gotten better. He believes in himself now 100%. And it's taken a while to get to that point. When he was in 9th grade on his AAU team, he didn't start. And the guys ahead of him weren't very good. But I told him, I said, you're going to be good. You're going to be better than these guys someday. And fortunately, he not only listened to me, but he went to work and made it happen. And that's why I'm proud of him. It's not that he's good. Jimmy's good too, but they both work. They just work hard at the game. Jimmy's been home all year because Cornell couldn't play this year. They just couldn't do it. Unbelievable. But he's been home all year, worked out every day. Every day. He's worked out 5 or 6 days a week. And I admire both my sons. But I really admire both my daughters because they're hard workers. And Sissy tells everybody she's got 3 state championships and they don't have any. So she's not even a little bit, giving a little bit to her brothers.
Coach, we appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Good luck in the next round.
Thank you.
Okay, Syracuse will face the winner of the 2nd seed Houston and 10th seed Rutgers. That game is going on right now. In fact, it's at the half. Rutgers leads Houston 30-27. That's all for this postgame news conference. A transcript of Coach's interview will be provided by ASAP Sports at www.ncaa.com/transcripts. Once again, www.ncaa.com/transcripts. You can also find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. That's www.ncaa.veritone.com. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today.